Hello. Can anyone hear this? Can I get a double check? Again, this is Dan Max, eXp Realty, aka the trading agent. Let's talk about these markets. I got a little bit of time. I know a few of y'all in the Discord room can want to come hang out, grab a coffee, grab water, whatever. We need to take a look at some of these charts because again, there's a lot of misinformation going on right now, and the volume sucks. It's rather confusing. Trust me, this is not the first time this has ever happened to a trade that I've ever been in. If it's the first time for you, then trust me, I get it. It's rather annoying and frustrating. But that's why I want to talk more about the rules and why they are for the purpose of what they are. Because this shit happens. We talk about all the time, like trend changes, inflection points. It's not always easy, right? I mean, that's just the truth of it, right? People get very caught up on has to happen right now. Starts here, starts there, going, gone. Start the move, like today, right now. Let's do it. It's like, I wish it was always that easy. And that's the reality. It's not. First off, if you got any questions, type something in there. AMC to the moon, of course. Duh. I think AMC's down today. What up? Just got done with the gym, having a snack. I figured that there's got to be a ton of people out there like, what the hell's going on? And unfortunately, the Discord room has turned into a slight mess at times. I don't want people to be confused. I mean, Roth is talking about layering in. Yeah, it's important. If you had bullets to fire today, oh my God. Gift from the gods. Will it resolve today? I don't know. Munching on those Fruit Loops? Cauliflower, broccoli, onions, in the air fryer over ground beef. Trying to eat healthy, man. As you get older, what you eat affects how you feel. LOL, when you're over 40, you're always bulking, bro. Upper levels for the SPY, QQQ, Apple. You're in no man's land. That's the hardest part here. No volume. Stretching it out. Rubber band man theory. Stretch. Yeah, I am. I'm actually closer to some of the higher numbers than I want to admit. But I don't let stress bother me, so I don't age like most people. Alright, let's start this. I can snack here and there. TLT. As Ross said, who's lying here? The bond market or the stock market? Remember we talked about no clue what's going to happen. Sometimes you just have to admit that yourself. Look at the TLT, 20-day. Back below this. I mean, again, this channel is, I would consider it superficial until it shows, but look at the volume. I don't know. I mean, can you really gauge anything other than if the Fed is pivoting, why are interest rates going higher? Can anyone answer this question rationally? I'm looking for just one answer. The funnier, the better. Do 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 do. Like, these are the things you have to think about, right? The Fed is pivoting, which means they're going to be loosening. What? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to people on StockTwits. If anyone's on here from StockTwits and you just feel like you're getting hazed by me on StockTwits about gold, again, if the Fed was pivoting, is gold going to be up 100 points? $100 an ounce? On the day, it is flat. Do you see how the game is being played right now? There's a lot of misinformation and missed signals. But again, think about what the market makers are always trying to do. They're trying to confuse the retail masses. I mean, my dad, I love talking to him because he watches CNBC. He knows how we run things, but he's the one who listens to it. And what was the narrative he said all day? He's like, dollar's going weaker, market's going higher, yields are going lower. Well, right now, yeah, pivot gate. Yields are going actually higher. Gold is down, and the market's up. Someone's wrong here. Pivot gate. Yeah, pivot my, you know what? No, this isn't. There's no Fed pivot. I mean, if you go look at the Fed fund futures rates, I don't have that saved on here. If someone had the link to it, they can send it to me real quick. I don't want to mess with it, but I think the rates as of, I think yesterday, were 63% odds of a 75 basis point rate hike in the September meeting. If I remember reading correctly, last I looked, it was like 40%. That's of a 0.75% rate hike. Pivot? Yeah. Are we changing the definition of pivot? Did 2 quarters of negative GDP is in a recession, and raising interest rates is now a pivot? And is that what it is? Do we need to go check Webster's dictionary and see what the definition of a pivot says? The new definition of pivot: pretending to turn around. Is that it? Sorry if I'm snacking, but I just figured I'd get this in now because we're going into hopefully post-lunch East Coast time, and watching the IWM rise, a little scary. So the Fed will end quantitative. Yeah, the Fed is going to end quantitative. They literally just started. I mean, that's the thing about the market is, we know how we say this all the time. The Fed can't, or the market can't take your money. They can't steal your money. They just make you do dumb shit. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, they can't come into your house and rob your bank, or rob your vault, rob your bank, take money out of your bank account directly. You have to slide it into the ATM machine reverse-wise, like a slot machine. Here you go. I want to play. Pull the handle. Pull the handle. Pull the handle. I mean, that's literally how it goes. Yet everyone in FinTwit world is what? Diamond hands. Stocks only go up? Right. You like how I tooted? Thanks. No, but that's the realization here. It's like, no one's safe. Nothing. Look at gold, y'all. I see red. In the world of green, Roblox, red, and gold. I don't think people realize, like, I've literally traded gold for 20 years, and it actually has taught me the hardest lessons about trading, because it is by far the hardest asset to trade. If the rules work for gold, they work for everything else. Let's just call it that. The most manipulated asset on the planet Earth. This isn't, no. I mean, people go, oh, Bitcoin's manipulated. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are babies. They've been manipulating gold for thousands of years. You don't know what the hell's going on. So at this point, let's dig into it, all right? Ask any specific tickers. I might be munching, but I don't care. Roblox bucks is the new gold. My buddy's kids would believe that. Slip that money into the ATM and reverse it back and get those fake Roblox, Robux. Is it Roblox, Bucks, or Robux? I can't remember. All right, well, let's just go to the videotape. A little quiet. Maybe you guys are doing the same thing. Eating lunch, hanging out. Alexa, turn on the lights.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. The dollar. Check this out. What have we said? Watch this blue zone. Loves to test, does it? Here we are. We're under the 50-day. Look at that doji. Look at that doji. Look at the volume. The problem sometimes with the UUP is you get a lot of these weird volume anomalies. Honestly, let's pretend the volume wasn't there. That's sometimes how I try to look at it and go, well, the UUP is not really how the dollar's traded. Think about it. Currency exchanges are, this is a product of a product of a product of the dollar. Like, you can't go take the UUP and trade it in for anything other than sell it and get cash. What do you see? Doji. And we're talking like Danielson Doji. Cobra Kai Doji. Here you go. Check out the monthly. This is the thing I think people, again, I don't watch the monthly. Dan, it's a lot of work. Yeah, no, I get it. You don't have the patience. But you'll watch the intraday charts all day. Laser beam focus. Check this out. Do you not see we hit the top of the channel and backing off? Does anyone really think the dollar's dead? In a world where everywhere else is basically uninvestable, is the dollar dead? Can anybody argue that it's not? But everyone thinks it's trash, right? But if you think the dollar's trash, well, what's the euro? I mean, what's every other currency in the world? What's the yuan? What's the yen worth? I mean, what's worse than trash, right? I mean, dirt? I don't know. Feces? That's how you have to look at it. And that's why I think people don't really understand how, and again, this is all probability based. An uptrend will do what? Ends on the blowout. Well, pretend you didn't see the dollar and you looked at this from the last 6 years. Is this an uptrend? I mean, is it not an uptrend? And this is where, again, you keep in mind, like, looking at the monthly sometimes can be rather interesting. Check this out. Check out this red candle at the highs. All right, check out hourly Apple. I'll go there in a second. Look at this. Everybody thinks it's going to fade. You make new highs. That meant everybody who sold here was wrong. Keep that in mind. When we hit the top of the channel, yeah, backs off. Apple hourly. You ask, you shall receive. All right, what do we know about Apple? Let's always start out on the daily, because I will go to the dollar, or the poop daily, or 10-minute, whatever you want to look at. 2 yield hanging tough. Yeah, it is interesting out there. We know Apple does what? It loves to get over resistance. It loves to pop, and then what? Flop. So if you are watching this and you're freaking out, let me give you a little blanket. Let me give you some soup. Let me throw on some Netflix and just chill, buddy. Calm down. Because it can do that. Look at this. Gaps over resistance, closes at the high, then fails. Now, at this point, we can zoom in, and yeah, I guarantee it's. I know what we're looking for here, and it's not that. Let me go back again. These charts, they have eSignal is new software. I knew everything, and with the new computer, I just pulled these over. All right, here we go. Check it out. Yeah, Netflix, I bet it was probably not breaking out. It's probably called a bear trap, Solomon, but that's okay. I know you're trying here. You're trying. Textbook breakout. So here's the thing about Apple. People are talking about it. Look at this action pre-market. No volume. Doesn't matter. What does matter is the opening bar, right? Look at that thing. I mean, if you're a market maker, you're Jessie Livermore. What? You're looking that was you. That was Jessie Livermore dumping because his load was so heavy, and he's like, all right, I'll sell. Say he had 1 million shares. Let's hypothetical pretend he just sold half of his position to somebody, and it absorbed it. And he's like, oh, it absorbed Doji. Great. That means we have what? More buyers. Let me just start feeding it to them all day. All day. And we'll see. Probably, again, that's how if I had inventory, I'd try to feed it out there, see what happens. Now you go look at the hourly, right? Right. You see this big green candle anomaly. Yeah, obviously pre-market. Then you get into the open. You're holding tight. Now again, think about rubber band man theory. If you turn this into back to the daily, you see it's getting really choppy intraday. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Just kidding. Choppy sloppy, right? And now you pull it one more time up. Market makers took the opportunity to unload. Keep in mind, it's a sneaky game, right? Like, if you have inventory to sell, the goal is not to scare the market out until when? When, like, someone answer this question. Like, when does the market maker want the market to drop? I'm just curious if people will just remember how this typically works. See how many people have read Livermore. If you haven't, I mean, it's kind of like think of it as Doyle Brunson's book on poker. Yes, inventory unloaded. They are selling out everything they bought at wholesale prices down here. Now look at the action. And this is the thing, this gap up was what? All right, it's a futures move. The market gaps up. It's really easy to push the futures action to do what? Trap. All right, well, now you have to trade the real market the rest of the day. They can't manipulate it on some sort of news, right? That's done. Now we have to deal with what we see the rest of the day. The market maker action, if it was going to continue, probably should go. It's really that simple. Like, don't overthink it. Now, again, here's where ultimately we're playing the probabilities, right? Yeah, they use the CPI one last gap trap, probably. The last time this happens, like any of this stuff happens, you always have to be cognizant of what? You could be wrong. Now, again, you're telling me to not be aggressively short up here. I would tell you, were you not aggressively buying down here? Probably not. Like the same people who are going, oh, Netflix technical breakout, market this, market that, it's going higher. I mean, I just know the psychology of this. They weren't the people buying at the lows, right? They were the ones doing what? Like, I want to see 3 comments of the things that people were saying at the lows when we were buying. And the folks that have been around, they know exactly how hard it was to buy at the bottom. What were some of the random ass justifications? Really should be simple. Come on, market. I see you starting to little slippage. It's simple stuff, man. Honestly, let me pull up Netflix because I want to see this breakout in Netflix. Inflation. Yep. Oh, Solomon, I can look at the chart and tell you're instantly just gonna hate me. But you also need I wouldn't say hate yourself because don't do that. Let's learn. Learning moment. What happened to Netflix the last time before it failed? Oh my God, it got over the 50-day technical breakout. Time to go. Time to go. Hey, gap over the 100-day. Time to go. Okay. Hey, it's like it was literally waiting for a moving average to catch up. It's bullish. Yeah, it's bullish. Man, this is not bullish, y'all. Can I put italics between my comments? No. Unfortunately, this is the game here, right? Like, you, me, and everybody and their mom, right? Tell mom I said hello. Is watching Netflix. If we're watching Netflix, is like the 100-day. And we're saying to ourselves, wow, we're over the previous high. We're back into the gap, and we're over the 100-day. That's got to be bullish. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this? Oh my God, it's bullish. Yeah, Trust me, it seems very well painted. Think of Bob Ross couldn't trap bears and bulls anymore. And bears by I mean like covering, getting squeezed out here. And think of squeeze like that Tom Hanks meme where he's squeezing the double oranges and he's got like that scary face like that's what's happening here. Now again, how much higher could it go? Well, remember, high volume highs and high volume lows love to retest. I mean, I'm willing to bet if the market does what I think it's going to do and we hit this 245 area, I mean, did we even hit it today? Did we hit it pre-market? Did we hit it pre-market? Oh, I forgot. I mean, that's pretty close enough for government work, folks. If the market has memory and you owned Netflix, pretend you own Netflix for a second. You're not just buying it for the first moment of your life. And you've owned it. And look at this. And you've owned this. And let me zoom back out. What is this? You saw opportunities to get out when it tried to get towards the gap. And again, not even, this is the hardest part is you and the folks who listen, you know, hey, the bear market or the bull market in tech is over. Well, folks who don't realize that now, and again, there's a lot of institutional big money that's not as smart as you like to think. Trust me. They might have a lot of money, but it's other people's money, right? Like anybody can throw a dart at a tech name and all pile into the same 7 names in a bull market for tech, right? Like you'll see this when we get to commodities. That's why it's going to be so fun. I don't know which name is going to be the name, but I'm looking at CF and Nucor. They already look like they are ready to take the baton at some point. And maybe AEM, GDXJ. But point being, let me digress back to what I was saying. You're into this gap. High volume high. Look at the volume here. Everybody who bought that day, wrong. Can you find a day with that much volume anywhere in the last any time? Does that make sense? Like this area is going to test the market makers. Like the market makers know that they can test this. And you know what sometimes they actually like to do, like they're doing with Apple? Just take it a little bit over. Hey, Solomon, look at it. It broke out. You got to chase that. Well, again, I know you're not, but I'm just using you as a reference because, again, I changed the name to Dick Butkus. Hey, Dick Butkus, you're hard-headed. Why don't you take a look at this? Oh, it's breaking out. Do you see how sometimes the market can like literally lead you into using probabilities, but then also being a little bit like play games with your head? Because I swear to God, like everybody was talking about the CPI starting the down move, and I said to myself, I wasn't at my computer, so I was like, oh crap, are we gonna gap up tomorrow? Because everybody was using that same knowledge, and now if you flip that whole script, again, like we have to think like the market makers. We're trying to trap people, right? What would be the best way to get people to buy the market? Do the opposite of what everyone thinks is gonna happen. Do you see that? Like, can you see how this can be very tricky at times? And hence why me, personally, being caught in every single trap in game, it's like, all right, I know how the market makers work. Now, again, we talk about layering in, being patient. Well, if you got in today, I think you, and again, if you look at your account balance and you're trading correctly, and you're short some of the things we are, you're essentially about flat for the week. You shouldn't be down a ton. Because again, the SMH is down. XBI slightly down, some of these names up, but in general, like you shouldn't be absolutely murdered right here. I hope that helps, right? Again, if you're in Microsoft, pain, a few points. NDAQ, pain, and a few points. But I mean, if you shorted AMD, right, you're good. You shorted, I mean, if you shorted the indexes, you're down a little bit, right? Like you're not in this like world of hurt. That's what I'm trying to explain to folks. And so if you need to stop out to get back in, we'll go right ahead. I mean, that's fine. But for me, if I have my options and I have them correctly timed, I was expecting what? I've said this 1,000 times, and I said, I hope this doesn't happen. What happens if we get stuck during OPEX, right? That's totally possible. Next week, and again, like when does the fall start? I don't know. Maybe it's the later end of next week. We don't know. Doesn't mean it couldn't just pop and flop. But here we go. Like, I want to show you all the VIX because this is getting me pretty excited. And when most people are like, you're getting excited, it's like, Yeah. Because just like VIX spikes and big green are typically the top, at the lows, the big red bars can be what? The end. Here you go. Here's the big red bar. I don't know if you consider this a big red bar, but here you go. Had a long wick. Big bar, tight action, blink. Decent red bar, dink. Now again, these were different times, right? This is choppy last year action. But again, same thing. Like big green bar, hello, top. Big green bar, hello. Big red, and again, big, relative. I'm trying to think, let me see if I can, man, I have to time machine back. Because again, we really haven't seen a bear market since 2008. And that's where I think people have literally no memory of what the hell happened. Because if you survived 2008, you probably told yourself, I'm never trading again. I'm buying and holding because, you know what, I can survive that. And that's where the people who bought the banks are like, yeah, you definitely didn't survive. But at this point, do you see what I mean? Like, you're getting literally, I hate to say this because I always worry with people with puts. Don't buy out of the money. For example, if you have Apple and you're buying puts, buy the 180 Septembers. I know they're more expensive. Buy less of them. It's a safer play. Don't go buy the 160s. But if you could buy the Apple 180 puts right now for dirt cheap, because again, the implied volatility is low. The VIX is low. I mean, it's... I don't know how else to explain this, but this is what you look for when you want to buy puts. Remember how we talked about VIX spikes knowing when the top is in? Well, nobody knows about VIX spikes because they don't see them. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the 80s is a legit spike. We're not close to the 80s. We're in this, just like the pre-crash, we're in this spike up into the 30s. Again, I don't know if people watch all the videos, but here, I'll explain it. Like, do you see that whole action before the bear market capitulated? Got freak nasty. Look where we're at. Choppy, sloppy, sloppy, choppy. And again, you have to trade it. Trader's market. We talked about that, right? But here's the thing, right? You are now positioning yourself here. This is August of 2008. Do you see where we're positioned? You are here. And people are like, why does the market go haywire in October? Well, again, I've explained that before. And let me repeat. It's the last quarter of the year. So if you're an institution, hedge fund, trader, whatever, your bonuses are based on what? Your yearly performance. Well, once you get into the fourth quarter, if things go south, you're gone. You are absolutely gone because you do not want to ruin your bonus. So that scares people into selling. It's mutual fund, their tax year actually, or not tax year, but their structure for mutual funds is the years start and end in October. Well, Well, if mutual funds start, getting scared, and those mutual fund managers taking their percentages, doing way worse than the SPY, what do? Unload, because again, they don't want to lose. And then you have the end of the year again. Like, do you want to take your tax loss now? Do you want to? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, all these decisions that need to be made before the end of the year, they start in October. Now, could it get worse before then? I mean, we all know. Again, as much as you want to watch the news and believe this is a midterm election, yada yada, going to be good, guys, gals, whatever. Inflation is still 8%. The Fed still have to raise rates. The president is still sleepwalking. Congress still is what? Deaf, tone, dumb, and stupid. China is still China. Russia's still playing games. Europe still sucks. And guess what's coming? The winter. The winter is coming. Right? Like, again, think about all the problems that have happened. Have they been fixed? Has any single problem been fixed? Have we not said 1,000 times the feds cannot manufacture a soft landing? They cannot manufacture a soft landing. And again, if you want to fight that and you think that can happen, by all means, go right ahead, because I am here to tell you That is the lock of the century. Think of like, sports betting. They're like, that's the lock of the century. The lock of the century is the Federal Reserve and the central banks will absolutely butcher what they need to do. Because the CPI might be at 9%, 8%, but we're in a recession. Ooh, now you've got, what do you do, motherfucker? Like think of this as like Samuel L. Jackson with the gun to their head. Cheeseburger, right? Or Royale with cheese. What do you want to do, guy? I mean, that's the reality here. And I'm sorry to say that. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know how to explain this to people, but again, let's not get political here, but if you watch Fox News, then you believe the Republicans are always right. And you watch MSNBC, you believe the Democrats are always right. Well, if you watch CNBC, you believe you're going to be right. That's the irony here. In all three of those scenarios, the truth is somewhere in between and probably not absolute. Is anybody even here? Can I get a yes, yes? Because I feel like I'm just talking. I can shut this down and do go back to the Discord room. But does this help? Does this make sense? Does this make you feel more comfortable about what's going on? We don't know. We don't know anything with certainty. But when someone says to me, hey, it's time to buy the market, you get excited. I get excited. I mean, oh God, gold. What happened? What happened, Stock Twits? All right, hey, note to self, inside joke, if you're listening to this, typically when people argue with us, and I say us, me, whatever, about positioning of like, hey, don't buy this, don't do that, and it's retail, and it's like someone really, really retail, I always laugh at Lupus. Like somebody has to get banned before the market drops, and usually that means some idiot comes in and goes, hey, oil's going to the moon. Then it fails. Hey, you idiots short in the market. It'll fall later. Hey, you guys are idiots for buying the market. It goes higher. I don't know who's the sacrificial lamb right now. Or if all these new people popping in are probably like, you guys are idiots. Maybe not. I don't know. I just need somebody to get banned. That's the sacrifice. No, honestly don't. But you know what I mean? Like that's what usually happens, right? Walter comes in and says this, or somebody says this about the whatever. Do you get the point here? Is like usually the retail masses are like, damn it, I watched the news and they said this, and look at the price action, and look at this, and this is what's happening. And it's like, but do you realize where you're at on the chart? Hello? No, you don't. Those same people just, again, they don't start on the monthly. They don't know what is going on. And one of the things that they're literally following the news, right? And we talk about the news is the news. XBI is at the high of the day. Let's look at that. So those are the things you got to worry about, right? And like when those types of people get super aggressive and are very inflammatory and antagonize, I just feed it. I'm like, show me. Yeah, tell me more about why you're right. Because I know they're going to be wrong. They always are, right? XBI. Now look at the daily candle. I mean, I shorted some this morning. I have not taken any. Again, I want to be more short. I know I might be wrong, but stopping in, stopping out, get back. I don't care. If I feel like I'm near the highs, I really don't want to overtrade because what do we know could happen? Gap and trap. Gap up, trap. I don't know. Who else? What other baby biotech companies going to come out and flop like they always do? Because, again, they run out of cash and they lie about how great things are going to be. That's what the management does. Think about the management of a small biotech company. Their goal is to raise capital. It's to take money from you and I and make it feel like you can't lose. Well, what's the reality? Most of them lose, right? Hey, we have this one great idea. It's going to cure cancer. Hey, we got this one idea that's going to cure hemorrhoids. I don't know. I mean, that's literally what their job is as a baby pharma. And that's why big pharma, when they're ready, they buy it because they know it's real. Before then, it's a complete crapshoot. Does this make sense? That's why I love the fact that the stuff was just going gap 1, 2, 3, trap. Now we're making a lower higher, another doji. Let's go look at the 10-minute just real quick because I'm just curious. Oh, highest volume. What time is it? 12:36. Let's see if this is an anomaly here. Again, look at the open. How excited was Jessie Livermore to sell XBI in the morning? Again, pretend everything is a Jessie Livermore example. I'm telling you, it'll make you think about the markets much differently, and then you can just change the name Jessie Livermore to yourself because you'll understand it. But look at this action. rips up pre-market, no volume. Somebody was like, hold on, hold on, I gotta sell. Hold on, I gotta sell. Opens, gets up here. Man, that was, oh, yeah. They sell right before the market opens, and then they just said, no, you can have it. It's like, I'm done with you. I'm done. Well, now what happens? Let's bring it right back up to the highs. Okay. This should be a great example. I mean, here's my box. Let me just pull it over, actually. The extension. What the? Extension ladder. Here we go. Let's see if this turns into a wick. What are the odds that this candle has a wick on it? Anyone want to take a guess? Anybody? Anybody? Like, what are the odds? What are the odds it's going to be a wick? I mean, I'm going to close my eyes, count to 10, do 3 turns, take a bite of food. 87.9%. I was thinking 97.9. Well, think about it. If you're new, look what happened when it previously got up here. What did happen? This is a good question. I mean, again, if I was new, I would be saying the same thing. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, you start shorting here. Oh, you're just dead wrong. Well, this area matters, as you can tell, right? On the 10-minute, since the highs. Keep in mind, a lower high, lower high, a lower high. Are we going to get another lower high? Or do we get a retest of the highs? That's ultimately what's going on here. And so this is where you would just sit and you go, all right, if you started shorting, again, if you were not short XBI and would like to investigate such trade mechanisms, I can't tell you to do anything, and this is not a recommendation. But if your finger happens to slip onto the buttons that press into a trade, interesting. I think that makes sense. But here's the thing. Wait for the wick to form. That's how you know. Does this make sense how simple trading really needs to be? Just wait for the wick to form. If your thesis, my thesis, our high probability thesis is what? That this will fail. What do we need to see? Just need a little wick. Just a little wick. Come on. Blow on the candle. Again, here it comes rising. And again, the volume, relatively speaking, sucks. All we need is just a wick. Just show me Livermore is back. He said, I'm not going to sell to you guys until you get to my price. Hey, Jessie. Let me call Jessie right now. What do you think about this trade, bud? Do you all see how literally this is, you really try to make your brain think about the market from the perspective of what? Just probabilities. Do we know that every time, again, because it could be a long wick. Do you see how that's why it's let's not be early. Let's see what happens when you get up here. All right, well, the next 10-minute candle formed. It closed over it. I guess technically you could call it bullish. That's where we need to see a wick. Do you see how you not driving into the ongoing traffic yet is probably the correct thing? That's how I look at it. That's how I would trade it. Now again, I think most of you guys know I'm pretty full. I have no desire to add to shorts because I am literally tapped out. My account balance on one of them is negative because of borrowing. So at this point, you guys tell me. If you're looking at this trade, what would trigger your entry? Because this is how you practice. You know how we talk about playing the guess the next candle game? Well, why do you do it for days and days and days and days, and you go back for years and years and years and do it? If you think about Livermore, you think about, again, when I say Livermore, think about the market makers. I guess if you put a J and an L together, maybe it forms an M, market maker. I don't know. Is that another pseudonym for him? You need to see that. Now, I see the IWM is right at the highs. Well, okay, here we go. XBI, right at the highs. It all kind of flows together. Now it's rising. You can't short it, right? Or like you shouldn't be adding to your short, right? Like if you started a position, you would just say, for example, you took a short on the 95 puts a month out. Maybe they're worth $3 or $4. Let me pull up my other screens. Let me live speak this one. All right, say you bought the 97. Oh no, that is the wrong date. That's this week. Say you bought the 9/16/97 puts. They are currently pricing at $6.85. Seems expensive. Okay, but if it's dropping down to 90, these 97 puts are gonna pay quick, and you're gonna burn off all that time that you're paying for and get in the money much quicker, and any chop will not hurt. Hopefully that makes sense. Like the time passes being more in the money, the time burning off doesn't hurt you. Now what? You would watch. And again, if you bought 3 puts, say your goal is 10, right? Let's just play a hypothetical game. You bought 3 puts. You are now in it, right? You are not liking this action. You're not adding, right? So 3 puts is way less pain than 10 puts, right? Because right now, if say you bought them at, let's just say it was a little earlier. Say it was at like $4.75. Now they're pricing $4.55, $4.65. You're down 20 cents on 3 puts versus 10. You see how, okay, that doesn't hurt so bad. Now you look at it and you go, well, is this another wick forming? I'll buy 2 more. And it's say it's at 3, say you could get it for, no, 3. Shit, I was looking at the wrong ones. Sorry, say you started the first purchase at like $7 and now it's at $6.60, $6.85. Sorry, start over. Now you said, I'll buy them at $6.80, okay? $6.80 and $7 your cost basis on 5 puts. You're down 20 cents. Right? Now you wait. Now there's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing to do but wait. Well, what do you do? What are you expecting? Do you see how, like, this is when I say, do you know that you know? This is why I thought maybe it'd be worth doing these, because are you guys actually, anyone who's still around, are you getting a better understanding of what I'm talking about? Knowing that you know? Seeing this kind of live. Again, I don't even need to enter the trade. I can practice trade this stuff with you guys and go over trades. But does that make sense? Like if you got into 5 puts here, you're waiting. And notice how, remember, I've talked about this a lot. Like, all right, I just doubled down. I just tripled down. Well, that's literally me going from like 3 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 10 to 20 puts. Well, I'm taking little stabs, micro stabs, right? Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Because again, I see that there's 23 viewers, but I got no responses. And if that's the case, I'll just jump back in the Discord room. But I wanted to go over this XBI example because I think it's this is, again, how you recognize and observe a trading zone, and then you do what? You trade it accordingly. But Dan, it went higher. Why would you buy puts? Well, if we anticipate the market going lower, could this not be a great opportunity? Again, could this be temporary? Now, this is why it's so hard. Like the 10-minute chart is the 10-minute. I'd like to give it time. But what if this was an hourly? Right? Like, let's just change it over the hourly. Then you're going what? Oh, it's just another wick. Potentially, right? Like, again, do you see why, like, the time frames after a certain point, like intraday trading, I don't really go past. I don't go less than 10. Fellow trader. Okay. Seeing a trend reversal on Nvidia and AMD. All right, let's watch this for a second. But when you say trend reversal, Curran, what's that mean? Like a top? Are you saying top or bottom? Trader, yeah, on the daily. So you're saying like the bottom is in. Is the bottom in on Nvidia and AMD? Is that the comment? Can I get a yes? Because what I can do is I can pin this and leave it. They're saying the trend change that they are moving further up, skewed for. They're saying. Are they going higher? Is that what you're saying? They're going to be making higher highs? Simple yes or no. Either way, let's roll into AMD. The trend in that they are moving further up. That's what they're saying. Yes. Okay, up. Great. Awesome. Man, hold on. Let me go short some AMD. Give me 3 seconds. Hey, short AMD. Yeah, cool. Got it. All right, back to the charts. No, look at this thing, man. I mean, they might honestly believe that to be true, but let's be probability based. AMD is not making new highs as the market's making new highs. Is that a concern? Yes. It's not leading. Problem, right? Big green, big green. What did we talk about on the top with AMD? Goldman Sachs upgrades the stock to 130, 120, 1,000. It doesn't matter what they upgraded it to, right? Look at that action. And I've called it a buddy pass, right? The buddy pass. You and I are all brokerages. Say I run Lehman Brothers, you run Bear Stearns, and someone else runs Goldman. Doesn't matter. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, whatever. We all have what going on? Well, when they upgrade, they're really shorting. Well, not necessarily. They might be just unloading to clients. They might short later. It just depends on the ability to move in and out. But here's the problem, right? That buddy pass, you and I upgrade it to sell to our clients. We have no fiduciary responsibility. Zero, none, nada. You look at this candle, it's like, oh, look at that. Everybody who bought that day, wrong. Now you're getting right back into the bottom of that candle. And even say here, what do you think is going to happen? If you bought that day, Curran, you and I bought AMD at 102, 103, whatever the high was ultimately ended up being. And we started making money back. And we weren't stupid, actually. We just knew we were trapped. You're taking your profits, man. You were absolutely getting the hell out of Dodge. Now, again, when I say smart money, smart people are like, yeah, have you ever been in a trap? Yep, I have. And you sometimes have to wait it out, right? Think about it. If the market goes higher and traps us, but then comes back to our levels, we're going to take some profits. We're going to take some money off just to hope to be sure that it's not going higher later. The same thing here. If you bought it and you're like, oh, crap, I'm wrong. I'm taking profit. I'm taking my money back. I'm trying to take less off. I'm trying to have less risk at this point because I was clearly wrong. That's how I would think about it and go, all right, well, you know what? I clearly bought the wrong time. I can't say for sure it's going higher. I'm going to take some of my money back and just see where I'm at. Because again, if it is going higher, what's the easiest way to, confirm that? Should take out the highs and go. But again, this is where this market has programmed people to do the wrong things, right? Perma bulls become perma broke at some point, just like perma bears go perma broke. Does this make sense? Like, do you see how hard this is? Is like the transitioning part of a bear market is very tradable. It's up and down with lower lows and lower highs. That's why we trade it. And the last leg is what? Just like the last leg of the uptrend is the fucking moonshot. Well, think about the last leg of a bear market. It's the absolute smash party. That's why you have to be hybrid. Yeah, I mean, you got to be mentally flexible. And people go, well, how do you know when, what was it? Scott's like, how do you know when the stock market's bottomed? When do you know the stock is bottom? I mean, if you watched any videos, maybe even one, you know exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for capitulation pukes. You're looking for big gaps. You're looking for extended straight line moves. He's talking about holding on to, was it Carnival, CCL, right? Carnival Cruise Lines. This is total crap. This is a crappy stock. Here, you want to buy some EXPI? It's probably just as good. No, this is not good, y'all. If you can't get a bounce when the market's rallying, like it's not even like there's no love. Look at that. Oh my God. And here's an example of, so think about like Nvidia, on their earnings, and it gapped down. It looked like it was great volume and then eventually went lower. Well, even the market is trying to drag this piece of shit higher and it can barely get there. Now again, Do you want to own this for the long run? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to Scott. If he's listening, I swear to God, if you want to buy Carnival freaking Cruise Line as your long-term hold, man, you don't have a very strong depth of potential trades out there worth checking out. NVIDIA. Okay, here is the Carnival Cruise Line of the semiconductors. Look at the monthly. Oh, shit. Yeah, exactly. The Carnival, thank you for, Scott, thank you for letting my brain segue into the Carnival Cruise Line of the semiconductors. And only people here will ever get that reference. Dragging shit, just got the shit kicked out of it and going nowhere. Going nowhere. Oh, their earnings came out and it gapped down. Oh, look at all those buyers. Look at them buyers. Oh, look at popping back. This thing ain't leading higher. This isn't leading higher. Well, let's look at the 10-minute real quick. Oh, actually, XBI is on our 10-minute. What do you see here? I don't see anything of great. I don't see anything great. I saw it gap up just like everything else. Chop. Now it's making, again, keep in mind, this is the hardest thing about, if you think about NVIDIA from, again, the perspective of the market maker. The people who sold on, whatever was that, Friday? I guess it was Thursday into Friday. Or Monday, whatever. They guided down. It wasn't earnings, that's right. Guided down. But do you see my point being, like, these guys are getting excited, like this is the start of the uptrend? I mean, call Johnny Broker in the background. Let's short AMD. Let's short NVIDIA right now. These are not leading. Short Carnival. Again, if you can identify the locations, again, I'm not doing that right now, but look what's going on here. You're just retesting the previous, that candle's highs. This is not bullish. This is just a retest. We talk about retest all the time. Look at the bottom. Retest and then pop. Kind of a retest and pop. Do you get my point, though? Like, where are these people at? Like, are these really the people? Yes, you could call that a head and shoulder. Yes, absolutely. This is your left shoulder. Here is your heavy-ass right shoulder. Keep in mind, think about it, too. In a head and shoulders top, the right shoulder should have accelerating volume to the price action it's going to do. That, to me, again, see how we're running out probabilities. I never say for sure, other than call Johnny Broker and put your sell order in with a stop if you have to. But that, to me, doesn't look bullish. Like, pull up the Qs. Because here's the thing about NVIDIA and, say, AMD. Oh, my God, that's just ugly. Like, I can't even see the candle. Can someone give me some glasses? Like, it's that tight of a doji. The market's coming back to the highs, and AMD is, like, down in the dumps. Oh, but again, whoever's giving you these signals, Karen, please post them always. Because I mean, we could probably start a small fund where you just do the opposite. Because I don't know who you get this stuff from. But again, I mean, maybe they're focused on intraday stuff, and they're looking at sweeps, and they're looking at all this crap that they think is, like, the most important thing right now. But the most important thing is always what? To zoom out. To think about it, right? Well, look at today's action on the Qs. And, we talk about novice gaps. Well, keep in mind, this is just all choppy bullshit. If you shorted on Monday, remember we talked about you're basically back to even for the week. Ooh, you're not up 20% on your account. Sorry. Like, that's how I am. I'm down 23% on my option account, but whatever. Down 6% on the other one. I'm literally right back to where, like, just pretend Tuesday didn't happen, right? Take this day out. Scratch it out. You're right here. Spy. Shooting star. I mean, yeah, there's a million names that call these things. Abandoned baby, dragonfly, whatever. Honestly, I don't even... Again, we just know it's a doji. It's super tight action, but think about today's action. Can we stop and think? Can everybody just listen for 1 second? If the market is as bullish as everybody says, why the hell is the daily candle indecisive? Who is telling people to buy, and someone's taking the other side of the trade? Clearly someone's not getting railroaded to get out of their shorts. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not bullish action, but it's painted to be. Again, with red or green, I don't give a shit. I honestly could care less. If we close anything like this, it tells you what? It tells you what? The whole day's action was what? Someone selling to buyers. When you gap up or you gap down and the action stays relatively flat, that tells you stopping power. I don't care if the volume's not amazing. We know that. It's the summer, whatever. It sucks ass. Sucked ass up here before it started taking the dive. What do we see? We see people literally not talking about it. Again, if you need to sell a bunch of your stock, what are you doing? You're not telling anybody. Right? You're not telling anybody. Right? You're not telling anybody. No, you're actually doing Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel. You're telling everybody and their mom to buy because then you can get out. That's why, to me, it's always funny how, like, if you think about Bitcoin, like, whether it's real or not, I mean, it's probably a scam, ultimately. And if it turns into gold, well, then it goes into purgatory like gold did for 20, 30 plus years. Do you see the problem? And again, if you guys think I'm just, like, talking because I'm some idiot trying to convince you of something, it's not. I'm just trying to explain to you exactly how this shit works. And here you go. If you had the XBI, you're going, come on down, and you see what happens. Remember we talked about if you just wanted to, you switch it to an hourly chart. It looks the same. Let me change the flexibility on this thing to green. Is there any confusion here? Do you see how easy this stuff actually is? Is there any doubt how easy this stuff is? It could turn into one. But do you see how, like, people think I'm really disrespectful. And I get it. But I still remember the times that I tried to correct the people that taught me. And they were like, you just don't get it. And then I would get mad. And then they would just light me up. Like, they would light me the fuck up. And they'd be like, you just don't know what you don't know. Do you see how I'm trying to project, like, listen, guys, gals, whoever this is, don't buy UVXY. Don't buy it until this. Right? Don't buy it. All right, I think you can buy it today. Like, be very late on UVXY. Now, again, you don't even chart it. Doesn't matter. But my point being, look at what was going on. Right? What was the VIX? This big-ass breaking the bank big red candle, right? Like, okay, I'll take a stab on that. How do you draw your bands with like that with? What are your references? Okay, great question. Let's go back to the XBI. I mean, honestly, you can pull up any stock. Let's do one that's been a reference, like Roblox. Why have I been saying 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50? Dan, why does 50 matter? Why does 50 matter? All right, there you go. Pull up AMC. All right, give me 2 seconds. Jesus Christ. Look at it. You can see the reference here. Now, again, remember these blue boxes. Please don't be like, oh, did I miss it by a penny? No. It's the bottom of this pivot point, right? It's the bottom of the gap down day, and it's the tops of all these other days. Of course, I'm not mad. You know, I just like to pretend like I'm having fun here. Look where it gets to. I mean, remember, I don't trade on this computer. Look at where it gets to. Do you see how, like, that's why I always zoom out? Like, you folks that love, it's the war zone of history. Yeah, it literally is. You folks that love to day trade, which, again, I like to day trade, but I don't do it unless I'm at what? I'm at the battle zones. Exactly. I'm not going to day trade in between the battle zones. Because why? That's when you're wrong, way more than you are right. Because if the points really matter, they should happen quickly. Does that make sense? Like, that's why I like laugh at the people intraday trading. Like, if you're not near a major support resistance zone, volume at price zone, you're not near a high volume candle high or low, why would I trade it? I have no fucking clue. I'm just guessing that the momentum will flip, and I'm looking at the Qs, and I'm looking at the sweeps, and I'm looking at the No, I don't do that crap anymore. I don't need to. I know 50 matters. And as much as it was hard to take the loss, or not take the win and just let it go because it couldn't get over 42s, what did it eventually do, though? It got to the battle zone. It got to the battle zone. Everybody short, wrong. Oh, but you closed out, Dan. Should you short? Well, if you did, you stopped out pretty damn quickly. I don't think people realize. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the VWAP matters, but then it doesn't sometimes. That's the hardest thing about adding more layers of complexity. I've seen the VWAP matter, and then I see it not, and then I see it matter, and then I see it don't, and then it's like, well, does it matter today or does it not? And I'm going, I don't know. It mattered yesterday. Does it matter today? Shit. Do you see how I don't need to add that level of complexity? Like, I want to be a visual, easy going, thinking about it from the perspective of the market maker. It's literally that. And I'm telling you, that is way easier. It's easier to be very probability based. It's very easy to be what? To not overthink things. Because, they say what overall analysis leads to paralysis kind of thing. That's a real thing. AMC. Well, what do you want to talk about? Like the chart, I don't know. You tell me. It's a turd. I mean, it reminds me of EXPI. I own it, and I have zero confidence it's going higher. And by higher, I mean back to the highs. You want to buy AMC? Cool, great. But again, do you want to what? You want to juggle this banana? You want to juggle bananas essentially? Because I have no absolute clue what this is going to do. Yes, anxiety. There's tons. I have no clue. This thing doesn't follow the market. So if I'm short it could go higher. And if it goes higher, it's a piece of the market goes higher, it's a piece of shit. It goes lower. Awesome trade. Do you see how I tend to like laugh at people who don't trade the leaders? I don't know. I don't know shit. I don't. I see a stock that's dead long term. That's rallying. How much higher can it go? Let's look at this extreme point. I guess there are references. But my biggest problem is what? If it doesn't follow the market, how do I know what to do? Right? Keep in mind, bull market all through here, and this thing just went nowhere. Bear market, of course it drops. Spikes, cool. Well, what do you notice before the day is dawn on AMC? A lot of big indecision and straight line moves. You remember that little comment, straight line moves typically precede the end of a move? Why is that, right? Do you not know? Do you know why straight line moves end a move? Again, that's when all the hype jumps into a name and the market makers have unlimited sellers or buyers to sell to. And what? The news is probably in the favor of that. So the market makers have the ability to do what? Liquidate. Well, once they once they stop manipulating it up, what? Now it's time to short it, right? Like that's just how it goes. So again, if you want to trade AMC, again, I got 3 phone calls and texts yesterday about people who were like, "Hey, what do you think of AMC?" If I was an AMC long, I would be nervous. I would not be excited. All right, let's roll through some of the trades that we're in real quick just to close it out because I'm going to do the daily market recap soon. SPY. Again, we're going to look at the daily. Let's not make this difficult, right? Doji. Interesting. What pattern is that, Dan? What repeating pattern is that? I don't know. The other doji tops kind of look above and fails. Tight action. And again, we haven't seen there's really hard to find this because we haven't had a bear market in forever. But again, doji at the bottom with gaps. Here was a nice. This is a wicked gap and trap. Gap down, doji, right back up your ass. Felony neglect. Here you go. Doji, fail. Double top. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Abandoned hammer. Here you go. Doji, then abandoned whatever. I'd call it what are those things you shake? Barakas? Like it looks like an abandoned baraka. Whatever that thing is, right? Baraka? Am I saying that right? That, to me, again, let's not overthink this. What are the odds? What are the odds, folks? SPY. I would not, again, if you gap up and all day, every hour, the market did what? It went nowhere? Who has the stopping power to overcome the amount of joy and ecstasy that is on CNBC right now? Think about all the joy. Maracas. Thank you. Why was I thinking Baraka? Yeah, looks like Maraca. Think about all the excited bulls. Can you step out and think about it right now? Does that make sense? Like, we're all looking at the bulls like, and you're excited about this? The bull market just started, Dan. Okay. The pivot, wrong. Wrong. Look at gold. Look at TLT. Look at the dollar bottoming. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel what I'm saying here? Now, again, I can't tell you tomorrow starts it. But look at the dollar. Same thing. This is the opposite. All day, it just climbs. Gaps down, flops, comes right back. Let's look at Netflix, because I'm just very curious to, because again, if Solomon thinks it's a breakout, it's probably about to fail. And again, that's not Solomon. That doesn't mean you're a bad person or you don't know what you're talking about. It's just, I don't think, again, I think you were all of us at one point. Yeah, watch. Look at that. I didn't say short it, but do what you please with it. Yep, UVXY holding. QQQ. IWM. This is the little trickier son of a biscuit, right? What do we see? Is this a breakout? I don't know. Does it need to end with a big shootout green or a shootout bar on a gap? Well, we know that's typically how it goes. Now, could it just be like this and kind of just drag up? Maybe. This is where it gets hard. Remember, the IWM leads, so it can get rather confusing. Do I trust this up action? Well, you guys tell me. Do you see the volume? No. Has anything changed? No. Just be careful. That's all. And so let me wrap it up with XBI coming back. Well, that's basically flat. Nothing there. TLT, danger. Again, if you bought gold and you got caught in a rant with me on StockTwits, let's just say thank you for confirming with me that you were dead wrong. Price waterfall incoming. You know, I don't have that. All right, yeah, SMH. Sorry, I don't have a confirmation of that. The price waterfall is wishful thinking. I would love to see that. Wouldn't we all? I mean, just pretend the SMH is NVIDIA and AMD combined. Crap. Where's the volume? Is that a professional gap? Oh, but it's rising up with the market. Okay, well, that's what it should do, right? Is it really that strong, though? That's the question you ask yourself. Is it really that strong? Let's talk that gap. Well, yeah, again, you can't even fill the gap. Do you guys see how, like, that's not really... Man, this is so obvious to me. If the market was really that strong in the SMH, shouldn't it fill the gap like nothing? Shouldn't it just be like water flowing to the where it's supposed to go? No, that's the problem here, is you don't know. If the gap can't fill today, does it have to fill tomorrow? I don't know. Because again, if it's a professional gap, I mean, you can temporarily do it, but it doesn't have to. You can come back into it. I mean, you can have these, like... I mean, you don't... I'm trying to find, like, some of the best ones on SMH. I mean, you're going to have maybe some back tests. Again, you don't even have to be a tadpole. This should be so obvious. Like, think about it. Like, if this is the end of it, and the market's as strong as they want you to believe, the SMH should be probably in the 240 range. Would we not agree? Can I get an agreement? Like, if the SMH is as bullish as they're trying to pretend it is, this thing should be in the 240s. Instead, it's at 237. And yeah, I mean, cupping, I don't know. I mean, look at the hourly. I can already sense what I think I see something. Let's check this out. I mean, where do you want to put this? I don't know. Again, I would think you'd be up here at 240, right? How we are not up there says a lot. That says a lot. And again, think about it. If you think about the market as a what? a mechanism of confirmation of price. Like if demand is really there, this thing should be at the highs. Do we not agree? Holy crap, look at GDXJ gone negative. How about them apples? Does this make sense? I hope people are learned a lot here. Because again, like this would be the most ideal place to short. But also some of us today did this. And it probably hurt a little bit. And it probably stings. I know I bought some puts down here. I apologize. I bought 3. And now I'm in heat. I'm taking heat. Do I stop out? I don't really think so. I think we have like a complex head and shoulder here where this is the baby bitch shoulder and this is like now you're, I don't know, you've got like a detached shoulder. Like it just can't even get there. Does this make sense? Like again, if the market's as bullish as it should, old leaders should be leading. Do you see why we sometimes trade certain things and watch them? If the market is and the Qs are strong, the SMH should be like, I mean, man, this is crazy because you guys haven't seen this maybe through this perspective. Like this thing should be rip roaring higher all day. Like it should not be this choppy pop chop, chop chop. Like this thing should be all day up, close at the highs. Like that to me is what you would have seen in a bull market. Let me see if we can find something like that coming off a low. Sorry, I'm extending this, but there's so many things that you got to know. Let's see if we have like a little fake gap that just turns around on it. No. Here. Gap, close at the highs. Not really. I'm trying to think of like a, here you go. Here you go. In a bull market, like if you got back down to the lows, it should just rip its head off and go straight up. Check out SPAL volume. Trust me, I bet it's picking up. Does that make sense? Like this is the kind of action you'd expect in a bull market. Like this thing would just be like, oh, all of this down, gone. Oh, this gap down and trap, gone. But instead, look at it. I know it's coming off of a highs, coming lows, but again, if it's as bullish as people are portraying it to be, right? Shouldn't this thing just be big green boner? It should be this right here. Can I say boner on YouTube? It should be this. Man, it was right in front of my eyes. I missed it. I knew there was something like this. Does that make sense? Can I get, if there's anybody left, do you see this? Like this is what you should have been seeing today if it was going to higher highs. Gap downs, trap, trend continues higher. Can you guys please, anybody, if there's anyone left, is there anybody out there? Like that is what I was thinking. You should have this candle right there. Invalidate all of this crap. It should be, it should be like ripping heads off. I mean, you should see people jumping out of the buildings. All the bears going, oh my God, game over. Roger Walters. Yeah, Roger Waters. Yeah, I see it. Okay. I'm going to end it on that. Do you see the big difference here? Also, too, decent volume, nice volume. Topping into, remember the zones. Like, think about the zones. Here we are. Danger zone. You're in it. How high? I don't know. Yeah, look at that shit. That's, to me, if the market's as bullish as it was, this is what you need to see. You need to see all of this invalidated. Because remember, the Q's at the highs, right? Q's are at the highs, correct? Agree? Yep. SMH is on fire. Should rip to new. It should be literally invalidate all of it in one day. There's your lesson. There's like your little knowledge of the day. Like a repeating pattern. If it's really that bullish and as bullish as everybody says it is, same thing with XBI, right? Right? When it was time and everybody was bullish and it just took out and blew out. Well, here you go. Now you can't even retake the highs. You got problems. Confirm or deny should show up tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Again, unless something crazy goes on into the close, absolutely. Tomorrow is your confirmation day. And maybe Friday. Remember we were talking about August Fridays? What if tomorrow's another doji or indecision? Are you going to jump out a window because it didn't drop? It could be the Friday, Monday effect. All right, I got to run. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll try to do a few more of these because, again, there's nothing for me to do now. I'm all in, guys. Like, I'm all in short. There's really nothing for me to do other than either watch the paint dry on the candles or maybe do a video or two. I will see you guys and gals in the Discord room, right? Meow.